All right, I guess you can hear the banjos. This is a photocopy of a picture of my ancestors. Now, uh, my one uncle, he was a real character. Him and my father didn't get along, so instead of him going out and getting a picture made from a picture, he went took the picture into work, made a fast photocopy, and then sent it to my father. And my father hung on to this. And I said to my father, "Well, who are those people in the picture?" He says, "Well, they're your ancestors." I said, "Well, who's who?" "I don't know." "Well, why are you keeping it?" "Because they're your picture of your ancestors." I said, "But you can't tell them each other anything about them." This is going in the garbage. All right, now I told you once before. I took all the pictures. I had a big box of pictures, and I took them out and I sorted them all by families, my cousins, uncles and aunts, and then I mailed it to them, and they were really happy to get it. Now, since then, they've all died, so I don't know what happened to those pictures, but my mother constantly took a lot of pictures, and so did my father. And my mother had a habit of putting her thumb in front of the lens, and we had a lot of pictures, at least 300, with a finger in front of the lens, and you could sort of make out who the person was in the picture. Well, those went in the garbage years ago. Now, my father had a habit of taking pictures of stuff that didn't need a flash, and it would overexpose the picture. Well, those went in the garbage. So since yesterday, I've been going through on these pictures, and sorting them out. There's a lot of pictures. My father might take the same pose 3 times. I take the best one of the 3. The other 2 are in the garbage right now. There's all these faces looking up at me from the garbage, but it has to be done. Now, I went through in the house and I got all my paperwork from my operations or buying a house and all this stuff. And I had paperwork in a fireproof box. I brought all the paperwork together and I said, look, to myself, look, you don't need all this stuff. You're hanging on to it because you for whatever weird reason you develop in your head. So I went through all my IRS returns and stuff like that. Went out, shredded it, it's gone. The prostate operation, all the receipts, shredded, it's gone. Okay, you got to get a handle on this stuff. So I got basically a handle on my life. If something happens to me and I get sick, it's going to be a piece of cake to get the hell out of here or whatever I have to do. And I saw that guy that I walked with. His brothers had to come over and clean his mess out. And at first they thought they were going to sell the house as is, but then they found out you can't do that basically. So they had to clean the house out. And they were asking me all questions about their brother. And by talking to him, I found out how much he was lying to me. But I had told him when I knew he was dying, I told him, you better start getting your ducks in a row or someone. He didn't. He didn't do anything. He just laid there and he died. And 3 days before he died, he came over here and he said to me, should I go for chemotherapy? And now I didn't know he already went and didn't like it, so he stopped. And he says they'll give me 3 more months. I said, I'll be honest with you, you're going to die any day. Okay, I've seen this before. I could tell how sick he was. And within 3 days, he was dead. But he got the shocked look on his face. And I said to him, look, if you had something, think about something you really want to do. You still have enough health and you could get there with your car and go do it. He couldn't come up with anything. I said, well, maybe it's time. Okay? And I learned over the years that certain people, they're in denial. They leave problems to other people because they don't do what they're supposed to do. Now, I'm making sure that I don't leave a mess to somebody else. It's still going to be sort of a mess, okay? And I'll have to do my will. But I had this picture, and I said, let me go off and tell people one more time, you better get your life organized. A lot of you guys, you can leave this mess, or your mess is for your wife to take care of. But I just want to tell you, I went through sorting pictures, found this picture, tech school. I went to Olivet School in Texas, and the guys were all ragging on me because my eyes are closed in the picture, but it was very bright out there, and the guy used a high-speed shutter to take this picture. And he caught my eyelids closed. But those guys, all of them, did not understand how a camera works, because I tried to explain to them what happened, But I guess they hold their eyeballs open for the picture. I don't know. But these guys are the ones that were sending me circuit boards. After we had the discussion about how to clean the contacts, see, a lot of technicians, when they don't know what they're doing, they take the circuit boards in and out a few times. And what that can do sometimes is a board can be statically charged and it locks up. And if you take the boards in and out, it could discharge and then it'll be fine. Those problems are really hard to find, by the way. But these guys in that picture, none of them had any real electronic savvy. They were being trained on stuff that was in Italian. It was a joke. The whole thing was a joke. But anyway, I'm going through these pictures and their memories, and you got to learn that don't hang on to it. It becomes like a trap. You know, box of pictures. I called my sister up years ago, and I said, "What do you want to do with the box of pictures?" "Oh, I don't want those pictures. I've moved on. That's depressing stuff." So, all right. So I got stuck with the box. All right, but I've worked it a certain way. Give the pictures to people that are in the picture, and then realize that a lot of the pictures have people that are next door neighbors in the picture. So if I have a similar picture without those two people, that goes in the garbage. Okay, I have two pictures. One's the cousin, the other one's the neighbor. The neighbor one with the cousin, that goes in the garbage, and I keep one of them. But me keeping these pictures, there's no one left to give them to other than me. So when I die, they can go in the garbage, and I can put a note on the box in the event of my death. Throw these out, okay? But I want to tell you something that happened to me. Now I always tell you about that engineer I had on my block, and I'd go over there, and he'd say to me, "I have a problem." And he's down there in the cellar, and he's got 6, maybe 8 filing cabinets, and he says, I need room down here. And he was a pack rat. And I went over and I said, "What's in these?" So he opens them up. His other ones he had opened up and showed me. He collected schematics of stuff he didn't own, he was never going to fix. I don't know. You figure out what that was. Well, anyway, he opens the drawers, and he's showing me these oil paintings, oil pictures, graduation picture, confirmation picture, First Holy Communion of this guy, Paul. Now, I knew Paul. And that's why he's showing me this. He goes, "I don't know what to do all this." And he's pulling these drawers, these filing cabinets open. And in it are his Navy discharge his pictures from the Navy, his discharges, group pictures of guys with him that are no longer alive. And I said, "You got yourself a trap here." "What? You got yourself a trap?" I said, "You're not going to be able to throw this stuff out." "Well, I'm having problems." I said, You're not going to listen to me." I just knew this guy so well. And he goes, "But these filing cabinets are in the way." And I'm like, "Well, I ain't bringing them over to my house." And he's like, asking me, "Is there a place you can store these?" I don't want to hear this. This is crazy talk. Okay? So anyway, when he died, I would walk by the house on the back road, and I'd look in and look at the dumpster, and I'd see all this stuff looking up at me. And that's why I'm sort of going through this stuff now. And I have pictures of stuff that's really wacky stuff. Here's an example of craziness, total craziness. Now, some of you guys might have remembered the Stagecoach, right? I did a video years ago on it, but you could see these pictures were done, and they're doctored, and anyone looking at these would never realize this is not being put together correctly. I have a Stagecoach that is put together correctly. Okay, I redid it, and I'm so sorry I did. It was my father's bodged job, and that all this hardware is the wrong sizes and everything, and it's all wrong. The wheels are okay, but it's a trap. See, I hung on to these pictures, all right, and you say, well, that really looks like a Stagecoach, but it's not done correctly. He cheated. He used giant nuts. Okay, I made actual scale nuts and bolts for it when I built it, and it just needs to be painted and finished up. But at some point, people started saying to me, the doors don't open and close. So I rebuilt the whole top of the Stagecoach, and then they started saying, where are the horses? And at that point, I snapped. Okay, and that's up in a closet, and that's one of my keepsakes that I don't know what the hell to do to that thing. I put it up on eBay. Nobody even wanted it. But it is what it is. But I'm going to warn you, if you're a guy, you got the wife to take care of it. Unfortunately, if your wife dies on you, you're going to be staring at these boxes of stuff. And I had a lot of people die this year. That's why I'm acting a little bit strange. A guy I went to tech school with, I've been keeping in touch with him. And one of his last messages, he says, you know, if you don't hear from me anymore, I'm dead. And I really didn't know how to take that. So I emailed him something, and his sister answered back, said he's dead. So he's dead. All the girls I sort of liked in school, but you never asked them out. And they were kind of quiet girls, and you sort of wanted the better looking ones. Well, I've tracked them over the years. Well, they're all dead, okay? So most of the people I graduated high school with, a lot of them have died at 69 years old. Now, this other guy that just died, that his sister answered me, I was kidding him about making 70, and he says, I only got 3 more weeks, so I'm going to make it. Well, right after he turned 70, he died, okay? And I don't know why so many people that I know are dying at 69 years old. It wasn't COVID that I know of. It's just been a bad year. I think the stress of COVID with everybody and the economy or whatever else going on. But I just wanted to show you, you know, hang on to a picture, and you just keep saying, basically, they're your relatives. Now, I noticed some of them are kind of dark looking, and we used to make little comments, but there is a major story in the Kleinbauer family. There were 2 first cousins that got married, and they got shunned. So they were so upset they hung themselves. So the family split. This is the best story I heard from the one aunt. She finally told me one day, because I would mention there were other Kleinbauers in phone books, and my one uncle said they didn't exist, and then I found out why. And there might have been more to the story, but that's how families are. They have these secrets and stuff. And some of these people do not look German in this picture, okay? They're not Germans. I don't know. And some of them could have been just, they could have been just friends of friends. But if that uncle that photocopied this, if he was alive, I could have really ribbed him pretty good, because he was really, didn't want to talk about the other Kleinbauers. And they're out there. And I had the domain Kleinbauer, and I was getting this other guy's email, and I had to set up a sorter on my email for the guy. And the guy had a business, and he never thought of sending me some money for the sorter. And it was his church groups and stuff. And I kept getting all these letters. I kept re-forwarding them, and finally I found out I could put a mail sorter on. So I was paying $20 a month for a mail sorter on my email system. For someone that had actually a clothing business, okay? This is the stuff that I was dumb enough to do. And I always like to tell you that. I've done some really stupid stuff, but it's always been trying to be a nice guy. And the funny thing happened was, I'm doing this video a second time, so if I'm repeating myself, you got to expect that. I had the other day I'm talking to a neighbor, and I have a woman call me over, and she says she wanted to know about that guy George's house, the guy that died that I walked with. It was up for sale, it's sold, now it's up for rent. And the woman wanted to know about it, but that's not what she really wanted. She wanted to borrow a pair of hedge clippers, and I didn't know her. And I'm looking at her, I said, do I know you? And she says, no, I just need hedge clippers. And I said, I don't have any. And she's staring at me like, you don't have a pair of hedge clippers? I go, no. I have 2 pair of hedge clippers, but I'm not loaning them. And I said, I have a pair of electric ones, but you'll take your finger right off. She goes, well, I guess you don't loan things to people you don't know. And I go, yeah, I guess that's about right. And then I kept seeing her. She was walking around the neighborhood. She kept saying stuff to me when she was going by, you know, trying to think maybe I'd give in and give her the hedge clippers. But I loaned tools here since I moved here. And 6 months later, both people I had to go back and get it. Well, I'm not done with it yet. Yes, you are. You're done with it. Give me it back. Now, the one guy, he wouldn't give me the shovels back, but his wife went and got them. And she says, he's embarrassed because he didn't do the job. I said, I don't care what. I said, they're my shovels. I have to use them. I have a job right now. I need my shovels. So I took the shovels. I said goodbye to her, and I left because I'm just a pushover, okay? And she didn't get the hedge clippers. And then she started telling me, well, I don't own the house. I only rent there. Well, I'm not going to do your landlord's job, because she wanted me to come over. Oh, it wasn't just a hedge clipper. She then wanted me to come over with the hedge clippers and cut some bushes. She's got a landlord. Why would I go to the landlords? Now, I do clean people's property that are rentals. And when I walk around there, I clean everybody's property. I don't get paid. And I do it because I'm tired of looking at the garbage. I call people piggers. Piggers with a P. Don't get anybody get upset. If you throw garbage around me, you're a pigger. Okay, that's all you are. All right, I think that's it. I have to do a video again. I looked over and it stopped recording. Windows 10. I love Windows 10. It just constantly keeps me on my toes. I think that's it. All right, that's it.